Yeah. This is a big story.
Shaped
Kremlin
like
says
refrigerators.
Huh?
Shaped like boxes in refrigerators.
Kremlin says Nord Stream incidents look like state-sponsored terrorism. As you know, Nord Stream 2 pipeline was sabotaged.
Sabotaged?
Yes. The West is trying to say that Russia did it. What?
Were you going that narrative?
They said it was sabotaged. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
They said the West saying it was sabotaged by Russia. Russia saying it was sabotaged by the West.
So what do you believe?
Well, you got to ask the question, who benefits from that pipeline going down? We know that it doesn't benefit Europe because they don't have any gas. They're going to be cold.
True.
And we know that since this thing has happened, since the winter has came closer, the gas usage has went up because it's gotten colder. And it's supposed to stay normal because they're trying to save.
So who more likely do you think blew it up?
Well, let's get into it then.
No, who do you believe?
Let's hold on. Damn, we're going to get to it. All right. This going to be quick. Hold on.
Is it going to be quick?
Nord Stream incident, a terrorist attack, this the Kremlin said. Such an incident is unlikely to have happened without the involvement of state power, spokesman Dmitry Peskov says. The damage inflicted on the Russian Nord Stream 1 and 2 gas pipelines points to a probable terrorist act, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Thursday. He told journalists it is currently difficult to say with absolute certainty what happened to the pipeline, but the scale of destruction indicates that it really was a sort of terrorist act. What?
I'm beaten.
Okay. Now here's another one. NATO threatens retaliation after gas leaks it says were likely sabotage. So they saying, yeah, Russia did it. We're going to retaliate if they keep messing with us.
Yeah, I believe them.
Oh, yeah, you believe the NATO. Okay, we're going to get to it. Just hold on. We're going to get there. Nord Stream. Sweden finds new leak in Russian gas pipeline. That was 2 days ago. All right, and then we're going to go right here. This is back in July.
July?
July.
You from, is that in California?
Yeah.
July?
Yeah. NATO conducted drills near Nord Stream leak sites in July, diplomat. So all the way back in July, they was performing deep sea drilling near the area.
That's a coincidence.
Okay, that's a coincidence. So we're going to keep going with this. Hold on. Now look at this one right here. Germany says Germany will never open Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline, assures Prime Minister of Lower Saxony.
They just felt it.
He just what he felt, right? Stephen Weil, the Prime Minister of Germany Federal State of Lower Saxony, speaking in an interview with Germany News Council on Monday, September 19th, stated the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline, which was completed in 2021, will never be put into operation, will never supply Russia with gas to Germany. That was a week ago, before the sabotage happened. Now let's see what one of Obama's former workers had to say about this.
Here you go, throwing the late great President Obama under the bus.
Just hold on. This is what one of Obama's people had to say.
With regard to Nord.
This was in January of this year, by the way, January 27th of this year, right after Russia invaded Ukraine.
With regard to Nord Stream 2, we continue to have very strong and clear conversations with our German allies, and I want to be clear with you today. If Russia invades Ukraine, one way or another, Nord Stream 2 will not move.
In January, they said if Russia went into Ukraine, that pipeline not opening. It's not operating. That's not enough. Let me show you again. This is straight from Biden's mouth.
Our commander-in-chief.
This is what Biden had to say.
Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
This was in February.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do.
Now you want to ask that question again? Who did it? It was the goddamn West that did it.
There you go.
Well, it doesn't benefit Russia to blow it up. Russia want to sell gas. They did it because America wants to supply Europe. They want to do it. Another person benefit from this too. You know who? Ex-contender for French presidency calls Biden to account for Nord Stream incident. So he's saying, I want Biden to come out and say why he made those comments back in February. I want him to come out and tell us why he had those comments. Why did he feel it would never open?
Biden gonna say I said what I said, boy.
Now look at this. Look who else benefits. Sensitive offshore gas field key to Israel's energy strategy. Israel is trying to open up a gas field.
Now, you know, Israel, they always got their hands in a pot.
And guess who this gas is going to supply? Europe. The pipeline goes to Europe.
They got them.
Oh, man. So they're trying to make some money off Europe. Europe braces for mobile network blackouts. So Europe is saying there's going to be no cell phone usage for a couple weeks. It's going to be a blackout for a little while. Now, why would there be a blackout right now? Is it possible they got a blackout so that you can't be calling and complaining about being cold? You can't call and complain about all the stuff going on. You can't complain to your government about what they're doing as far as policy.
Yep. That makes logical sense.
All right, let me show this one.
What's going on here is that the West is leading Ukraine down the primrose path. And the end result is that Ukraine is going to get wrecked. And I believe that the policy that I'm advocating, which is neutralizing Ukraine and then building it up economically and getting it out of the competition between Russia on one side and NATO on the other side, is the best thing that could happen to the Ukrainians. What we're doing is encouraging the Ukrainians to play tough with the Russians. We're encouraging the Ukrainians to think that they will ultimately become part of the West because we will ultimately defeat Putin and we will ultimately get our way. Time is on our side. And of course, the Ukrainians are playing along with this. And the Ukrainians are almost completely unwilling to compromise with the Russians and instead want to pursue a hardline policy. Well, as I said to you before, if they do that, the end result is that their country is going to be wrecked. And what we're doing is, in effect, encouraging that outcome. I think it would make much more sense for us to work to create a neutral Ukraine. It would be in our interest to bury this crisis as quickly as possible.
Now, this is in 2015. Keep in mind, in 2014, America backed the coup that happened in Ukraine. Just remember that. So he was saying this a year after the coup started or happened, that this is going to lead to something bad for Ukraine. Now, Ukraine has been getting some what they call wins, taking land back and all this other stuff, but Russia is just simply taking the lands they want, having the people in those lands vote to be a part of Russia or not, and then saying this is a Russian land now, Russian territory. They're just doing it slowly. They're not trying to win the war through the military. They're trying to win it what they call through democracy. Have the people vote.
Honorable.
Yeah, have the people vote to be part of our country. So the people that vote against it, when we slaughter your ass, we
There'll
didn't
be
do
no
nothing
hard
wrong.
feelings.
No hard feelings. We didn't do nothing wrong. We gave you opportunity. Russia to officially annex Ukrainian territories into Federation Friday. So these are the places that they took over. They had to vote. We talked about that last week. They are officially a part of Russia now. And Putin had a speech, he did, where he said that the West is openly satanic and that they are imperialists and everywhere they go, they destroy. He talked about India, talked about Africa, he talked about a couple places how the West is constantly trying to be in power and they're willing to sacrifice anybody else to stay in power.
That's true.
And he's also saying we will never accept LGBT rights. We will never accept the West culture. We are a Christian country. He's basically turning into Trump. He is keep Russia great or make Russia great again type person now.
Wow.
And did y'all hear about the shooting, the school shooting that happened in Russia?
I think 13 died, 21 injured.
Now, ask yourself a question. When has America ever reported on a crime that happened in Russia? When has the West ever pointed something like that out?
Propaganda?
Or was it are they trying to create instability within the country?
No shit, Sherlock.
Let's see what else we got. Okay. And this is why this is important. Biden thinks non-nuclear threats will stop Putin. His military doesn't. Jared said they built the economy off American money that Americans needed. Ukraine continually accepts our billions to problems that are not our own. Now, keep in mind, America
big Israel.
America has given. Listen to this. America has given Ukraine so much money that is equal to the entire Russian military budget. Now, keep in mind, America, their military budget, is as big as the next 10 countries combined.
That's a lot.
So they spend trillions on the military. They've given Ukraine so much money, it is as big as the entire Russian military budget. So they are superpower. Ukraine right now, they have the military might of a superpower. They have infinite money, infinite ammo, infinite weapons. So, yeah, that's tough to deal with. But Biden, this whole situation going on with Russia, they thinking it could lead to nuclear war. At least they're trying to say it can be controlled nuclear war. They're thinking that Russia may just nuke Ukraine if they get too sick of this situation where it look like they losing to little old Ukraine. They might just nuke them. To the countries that are not a part of the agreement, they don't sign on them to vote to be a part of Russia.
Nuked too?
They're gonna nuke their ass. Like, all right, you ain't gonna be with us. All right, let me drop this. Let me give you this. Let me hold this for a second. Now, we also know there was a theory, because Russia is mainly taking eastern Ukraine, that western Ukraine will end up voting to be a part of somewhere like Poland. That way they can be part of NATO. Is it possible they can divvy up Ukraine to different places? Is that how you solve this? Just get rid of Ukraine?
Like
giving the West Ukraine to Poland and NATO, and East Ukraine go to Russia. But they want Crimea because they want to rebuild the Khazarian Empire, which Ukraine was a part of.
Ooh, the Khazarian Empire.
And we know who the Khazarians is, right? The tiny hats, what they call Israel now. And you know, Zelensky, he called Ukraine Big Israel. We want to make this Big Israel. So are they trying to bring back the Khazarian Empire?
They're going back where it all began.
They want to go back home. They want to get the hell out of Israel. They want to go home.
They already know what the Bible has prophesied about the Middle East. So they better try to get the hell out of there.
Now keep in mind, just 4 years ago, the United States banned Ukraine militia from coming to America. They banned giving them arms. They saw them as a Nazi group. But look what they're doing now. U.S. Congress accepted the militiants, Azov, the Azov Battalion, which we know are Nazis. They were at the White House. Ukrainian women soldiers.
Look at the women.
Listen, Ukrainian women soldiers just finished a very intense 1 week visit to Washington, D.C. It was an honor for me and whatever to assist the delegation sent by the order of General whatever upon the invitation. Below is a quick report of the visit. Now look at this. The most emotional moment was when the suddenly released Azov soldiers right inside the main hall on the Capitol Hill. They are literal Nazis. Well, are we surprised? Operation Paperclip. We know the story. So they just openly have Nazis in the White House right now, seeing them as
Like it
heroes.
ain't nothing.
Seeing them as heroes. Finding to meet delegation right in the middle of the voting. Ukraine armed forces are super thankful for intelligence sharing with the U.S. Ukrainians are sharing intelligence with the United States? You know who else America shares intelligence with very closely?
Who?
Israel.
They're the same.
So happy to meet Senator Collins and talk about the effectiveness of HIMARS and Howitzers, but our combat women explain also the need of hundreds of armored vehicles to keep liberating our people who suffer under occupation. Is occupation when America sits in Syria? When they weren't
did
invited?
they send the women so it won't look as bad?
Yeah, that's why they use the women. And we talked about it earlier how...
Because if they would have sent men, it would look like, what? Y'all got Nazis over here?
And we talked about that before, how Caucasian men are now being led by their women. Caucasian men are starting to be led by their women. Italy just voted in what they call a far right person to lead them. That's a woman. They're afraid that what is it? What country is it? There's another country. UK. They got a woman in power.
What's her name?
Liz Truss.
Liz Trust.
They got
And Liz, they trust.
Look at this, New York.
Thank you.